All right, everybody. We got another very special guest for you, a returning special guest. So, everybody, please welcome back to the show, Blake McCarthy. Welcome, Blake.
Thank you. Thanks for having me back. I love it.
It's our studio audience.
I didn't even know he was doing that either. What the This is great. So I think it was last week he talked to me. He's like, I got some sound reels, and I'm gonna start using them. Maybe we'll use the tracks for when we have somebody that's back on the show that hasn't been here.
I love it. That's especially I think as a surprise, it works even better. So,
yeah. Oh my god!
They gave me a soundboard. I'm going to use it, Mike.
Production quality has gone up, so
yes.
We actually have less listeners now, but we're having fun. Dude, welcome back. I feel like it's been a while. It's been at least a year, right?
Yeah, I think the last one was before the issue 4 campaign, which was last year. I think it was around this time, fall-ish.
Yeah.
It was probably about a year.
So have you grown consistently, you think, from issue to issue from like your Kickstarter community and stuff like that?
Definitely it's been trending up. The first issue we had like 130-ish, 120 something backers, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next 3, 2, 3, and 4, it was all 160s.
Nice.
Went up, from issue 1 to 2, 2 to 3. We had a little bit less backers on this last one, but it was pretty similar numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And so I definitely feel like there's like a core fan base now.
Yep.
And I feel like each time, because the cool thing about Kickstarter is it does kind of show you returning backers and all that. So each time there's been a decent number of new backers as well. And then with this campaign, I'm excited because this is the final issue, but it's also for people who haven't backed it before. This, they can get the whole series in one go. I know that some people like to wait for that. So this will be 1 through 5. It's going to be a 5-issue series. So I'm hoping that maybe we'll get, a decent amount of new backers, just people who might have been interested, but were waiting for the full series. Now, hopefully we'll get some of those people too.
Yeah. So we can, safely say you wrapped up the first story arc now, right? The 5 issues is going to kind of complete that.
Yeah. And this is the whole story that I have planned for this. When I had the idea for Territory, when I was kind of putting it together, this was the whole story I had. So, it's definitely the first arc, might be all of it. Since I've, kind of been doing it, I have had kind of some ideas of where else I could potentially take it, but nothing concrete yet. So for now, this is going to be, all of it. But if, especially kind of depending on how this goes and where Territory goes kind of after Kickstarter and all that, we'll see what happens down the line.
Cool.
Very cool. I know in the last issue you had a change in your art team. Is that same art team from 4 coming over to 5, or did you end up having another change?
It is the same one from issue 4. So yeah, the first 3 issues, Chris Sassman was our artist, pencils and inks and all that. And then unfortunately, he just wasn't able to continue. So we had Donnie Hadiwajaja come on for issue 4. He'd worked with our colorist, Ichsen and Sori, and he's been great. And so he'll be back for issue 5, which was really great because I thought he did a good job. It was definitely a different kind of art style. You can tell there's a change, but it flowed. I didn't feel like it was disruptive to the story as far as like, having it be something completely different, or it didn't feel, like the same world or anything like that. And then it was just him that changed. Ichsen and Sori is still the colorist. He's been the colorist the whole way. Marco Delaverde is still the letterist. He's been the letters the whole way. And then Nicole DeAndrea is our editor, and she's been with us. So.
Yeah, I think keeping the same colorist is huge because a lot of people don't talk about that, but that's really the finishing touches of the art, and it really helped the flow of the book, where there is a bit of a change in the art, but I think as a reader you don't notice it as much because of the colors.
100%. And I think the atmosphere and like the feel of the world, I think the colorist is really important there because that's in every panel. In those backgrounds, even if there's not much, going on in the panels, there's, the colors are, you still get that same feel. So if you've got that consistent throughout, and I definitely, Ichsen has been great. you know, and I think it's nice that he had worked with Donnie before too. So it was a pretty seamless transition. It wasn't, you know, didn't feel like there was a whole lot of things that we had to go over or try to redo or anything. You know, he was able to kind of catch Donnie back up, and Chen was able to, you know, kind of make his stuff still fit in that same world.
Definitely.
Cool. So, you know, you said you might not continue with Territory, but I mean, so I guess for I don't know how many first time listeners and viewers we have about this project. So we talked about it a few times on the show, but just like what's the rundown, and you know, what is Territory, and kind of where is the story so far for this last issue?
Yeah. Well, so Territory is a post-apocalyptic kaiju miniseries, and basically in this world, it's a far distant post-apocalyptic world. Some sort of human disaster wiped out most of the population. Now the remaining population lives in tribes, and then there's these kaiju that have kind of come up from the apocalypse, and the people that live in these tribes, the different tribes, worship the different kaiju as gods. Mm-hmm. And so the story follows Alkia. She's the protagonist, and she's part of the Great Horn tribe. The Great Horn's this kaiju you can kind of see behind me here. Yeah. It's this sort of giant bear, elk type beast. And so all the kaiju, there's a couple different kaiju in the book, and the tribes worship them. And it's a story about, you know, this post-apocalyptic kaiju world too, but then it's about you know, sort of the dangers of blind faith and indoctrination and some disillusionment, some coming of age as well. So this story is going to be this issue is going to be the last issue. There's 5 total. So basically the first issue, it kind of introduces the world, introduces the tribe. We meet the Great Horn. You see kind of the rituals. Then they go on this pilgrimage to see this site where the Great Horn battled a different kaiju called Aquamassis and defeated it. And then in the 3rd issue, the Great Horn battles a new kaiju called the Matalishki. And so it's kind of the first one where they see another kaiju come into the world that they didn't really know about. And it sort of, you know, it goes against a lot of what they had kind of previously believed and knew about the world. And so it challenges their beliefs. And then I'm not going to really spoil anything else that happens, because that's really kind of one of the big turning points for the issue, mm-hmm. or for the story. But this 5th one is sort of it does. We're really happy because we got to end it on our terms, and it brings together, you know, all of those themes that we introduced in the first couple issues, especially the, you know, issue 4, and then this last issue really brings all those themes to a head and gets the messages across that we were kind of trying to get across. And I think you see the growth of the characters really come full circle, which is awesome.
Yeah, definitely. One of the things I really loved about the story so far is just everything you just said. Like the fact that it's a kaiju book, but you could mm-hmm. really, it's more about the aspects of the people living in this world and how they view these kaiju more than anything. It's not your typical kaiju book that like me and Mike really love and we talk about all the time, but where it's just Godzilla destroying a town, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. And I have to think there's probably a little more fun in writing a kaiju book where you're not just like, okay, kaiju smashes on page 1, page 2, kaiju, you know, like
totally. Well, that's, you know, because I'm a big fan of obviously Godzilla and the kaiju stuff too.
Right.
But and I knew I wanted to do a kaiju project, but that was the thing, is how do we, you know, how can you tell a good story with it? Because there is some good Godzilla stories, there is some good kaiju stories out there. Yeah. But it's so easy to just get focused on, look how big and cool this is, and look at, you know, all this cool stuff we can make these big monsters do, which is a lot of fun. Sometimes that's what you want, and I love that media, and I'm not trying to hate on it at all. But, you know, trying to be like, what else, you know, could they do? And especially with Godzilla, that was one of the big inspirations, because, you know, I mean, Godzilla, the first Godzilla story was an allegory, and it was, you know, I think that's sort of when a lot of times Godzilla is at his best. Is when it's representative of something else, whether it's representative of, you know, obviously the attacks on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, or when he kind of is representative of, you know, sort of nature and what, you know, kind of when we mess with nature and what can happen. So using these monsters as sort of symbols for some other message, I think gives them another layer of depth where not only do you still get the big cool art and the smashing and the action, but then you also get, a deeper meaning behind it. And that was, kind of what we wanted. And then to me, trying to just kind of look at it and, obviously they're a very fantastic idea, but if you put sort of a more realistic spin on them, like if these things were around, like they would be worshiped, people would build religions around these. People would, devote their lives and devote, their existence and come up with stories and mythologies for them. And as a big mythology fan, kind of, being able to incorporate some of that and build, a new mythology into this book was really fun to do too.
Yeah. And it's like, it's one thing to be like, yeah, it's kind of silly to think about people like worshiping Godzilla, but then it's like another thing, like, wow, if I saw that, come through and just lay waste to my city and nothing could stop it. It's like, well, what is your explanation for, something like this coming about? And especially like you have the fallout of, post-apocalyptic setting and just, the shit that happens with that too, and how people react to all those things is interesting. But I think it's cool. So sometimes we see like trends in like comic books, not to say that's what you were going for, but it's interesting to me because like this is kind of lined up now, like the popularity of this story with some stuff, some like mainstream comics we've seen come out that are Godzilla based, but like the stories like the Skate or Die one about Godzilla, and then we have the Godzilla Here There Be Dragons. It's like you said, Godzilla is in the background and is a crucial part to the story, but it's like we're telling an interesting story around this giant monster where it's like, yeah, some people don't want just smashy smash. And, that still happens. Like Godzilla still shows up, but there's like, oh, there's this interesting event that can happen alongside that. And it gives you a different like perspective on that. Right. So I think we've seen almost that shift with a lot of the mainstream Godzilla stuff too, because people realize like, oh yeah, there's more stories to be told there. Right.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, and I don't know if you guys saw Godzilla -1. I thought that was incredible. Like I loved Shin Godzilla. And so I went into Godzilla -1 thinking like, oh, well, this will be cool. It's another Toho Godzilla.
Right.
No, but I didn't think there was any way it would get anywhere near as good as Shin. And it blew me away. Like that's the top 3 Godzilla movie for me. I thought it was fantastic, but it does a lot of what you're talking about where, the main story is about the human characters in that.
Right.
And, what Godzilla does having an impact on them. And I think what's cool is it's cool because I feel like the kaiju fan base and the Godzilla fan base has gotten bigger and, become a little bit more mainstream or more popular. There's a lot of creators out there creating kaiju stuff right now. There's a lot on Kickstarter, which is cool. Like you said, there's even a lot more kind of, mainstream published books, which is awesome to see. Like it's cool to see so much kaiju content out there. But especially, with something like kaiju, yeah, you can't just tell the same smashing story over and over. You have to, do something that makes your story unique, that makes it stick out. And like you said, the different comics are doing that. And that was, those specific ones weren't out when I started this, but there were definitely, some kaiju stories that had similar themes that inspired me to be like, okay, let's look at this from a different perspective. How can we add more to it? How can we, make it about more than just the monsters?
Yeah.
Yeah. It reminds me of someone who's a big zombie fan, like how zombies are treated, because zombies are really an allegory for everything. Like you go back to Dawn of the Dead and it's all about consumerism and all that kind of stuff. Like
100%.
Yep.
Well, that's sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, like you said, I always saw Godzilla as the allegory for a force of nature. Like there's something that we're doing to our environment that causes Godzilla to come in and kind of reset what we are doing.
Yes. Yeah, and I think exactly. He's a reminder that there's something greater than us. Like we, as a species, humans love control, right? Like we do so much to try to control everything and make it work to us. I like that Godzilla is, sort of the foil to that. He's the answer of like, well, no, there's something out there bigger, something we can't control. And if we push too hard, this is what's going to happen. And that's, and with Territory, it was cool because with the post-apocalyptic world, it's nice because you can take a lot of the, you don't have to focus on any of the details in today's world because you can just sort of say that's all in the past. So you can build, this sort of new mythology around it where you have those themes, but you're not tied to any specific, group or political thing or religious thing or anything like that. You can sort of build it all. And so you can just show the themes without, having preconceived judgment because it's tied to this or that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So to the audience out there, as we're recording this, you're still in pre-launch. We're recording this a little bit early, so I don't have the exact Kickstarter page up to look at. So what can people expect from the Kickstarter? Like, I know in the last one, you were really focusing on Mars's covers and doing all the prints and everything. What's going into this one? Is there something different, or are you kind of going more of the same?
So it'll be different from the last one. This one is, so this is my 5th Kickstarter campaign. So this is definitely the one I feel like I fully, I know Kickstarter the best now. I know Territory the best now. I feel like I know what the fan base of Territory wants, what people like. So the last one, it had a ton of options, but I almost feel like it was almost a little too much. Like it had, all sorts of stuff going on. This one is very distilled to where I feel like this is just, based on the first 4 campaigns, based on the first 4 issues, everything we've done. Because from each campaign, each of the previous 4 campaigns, I've tried different things with each one, adding things, changing things, even kind of some different strategies. This one, I really tried to just look at all of them, figure out, what really connected with people, if you look at Territory as like, kind of a brand, to say what is a key part of the Territory brand? Like, what are the people who really like Territory? What do they like? What are they interested in? How can I give them, this sort of the best experience of what they've had in the past? So I'd say this one's a lot more distilled and focused than really any of the previous campaigns. There's not as much kind of new stuff per se, but we are adding new rewards, but it's all stuff that is based off of what people have liked in the past. So like we're upgrading, we're going to do some more trading cards, but like we're going to do some cool holographic ones with Mars's art. We're doing some cool prints. We're doing some more cool bookmarks, like cool pins. So basically just kind of stuff that people have liked in the past, just trying to give them like a better version of that. And so like if you're a Territory fan, especially guys like you guys who have supported us from the jump, like we want to give you guys basically the best Territory product we can for this last campaign, so that all the support we've had, all the experiments and stuff, well, now you're getting basically what we feel is the best thing we can put forward. So it's more distilled. It's probably a little like it's a like there's way less reward tiers and stuff than the previous campaign, but I feel like it's going to be more effective because it's more focused and based off of everything we've done in the past. I feel like this is sort of a greatest hits of everything.
Yeah. So I know at some point, because I know, Mike, it's on the tip of your tongue, we're going to talk about covers, but I got to ask, because spoiler alert, there's going to be another Mars cover. Is there going to be a print for this Mars cover to go with my Mars cover collection of prints?
Please.
Oh yeah. So yeah, we will do. So I'll just because especially like you guys have been with me as far as like what Mars has done has been so cool. Like that's been one of my favorite parts of this campaign, because I've never seen anything like this really in comics or especially in kaiju media. Like her stuff is just so cool and unique.
Right.
And her cover for this one, which is what you got going on in the background here, is such a perfect summary of all the work she's done so far for Territory. There's the 3 different kaiju, and then there's this there's this tribal feel, this religious feel. And so yeah, that like totem pole-esque cover with the kaiju, kind of, and then we've done the neon colors, so having the gradient and everything. But I love this cover. I feel like this is like the perfect way for her to finish her Territory run. So we'll have bookmarks, we'll have prints, and then we're also going to do, some additional rewards as far as like trying to upgrade it, like hollow versions, foil stuff, like just, again, trying to really give you that really nice, sort of premium feeling stuff. Because I mean, this her art has been so good, and this one is such a great summary of it that we want to, put out like a high end version of it for people to have because it deserves it.
Yeah, it actually blows me away that I haven't seen her more. Because with your book, I mean, I bought every cover she's done. I think her covers are amazing.
Yeah.
And so the wall in front of me is all like art prints from different campaigns, different comics, all kinds of stuff. And I have one of the old Territory ones that you did for probably issue 1 or 2. And usually I don't double dip, but the Mars ones came out, so they're on there too. And I really thought when I started seeing her in these campaigns, I'm like, she's going to get work everywhere. And I cannot believe that she hasn't gone big on Kickstarter. So I guess the question there is, has her covers been as popular with other people as it has with me?
Yeah, her covers for every issue, she has had the most popular cover, which is really impressive because we've had like Jeff Zornow, amazing kaiju artist, has done some professional, some Godzilla published comics, some other stuff like that is officially licensed Godzilla stuff. We've had some bigger artists as far as name recognition and follower count and all that. But yeah, she has consistently been, the most popular cover. And I think, again, it's just so unique. And I'm with you 100%. Any project I work on, like if there's a way I feel like I can get her involved, I'm going to do it. Cause I think like her stuff is so cool and so unique. So I think she deserves to be working on more projects. I think a lot of, I don't know why it hasn't happened, and she does a lot of cool like commission work and stuff too. Like Territory, I think, is really her only comic project she's worked on. And so I wonder if it's just people don't really know that she can do kind of comic-y work. But I hope she gets a chance. I hope that if that's what she wants to do, that she can get some opportunities, because she's also been just great to work with. Like she's super cool, super fun, great to talk to. She loves the project. Like it's not just a paycheck for her. She asks questions. She wants to understand it and make sure she's doing something that fits it. So I definitely, if anyone out there is looking for a cover artist, highly recommend her, especially if you've got any sort of monster type work. You'll get one of the coolest, most unique covers out there. And yeah, and people want it. Like it's been every campaign we've had, a ton of people get it. And we, started doing the neon tiers and stuff because people want, not only her covers, but they want the art prints, they want the cards, the bookmarks, they want her stuff in as many forms as they can get it, just because it is so cool.
Well, and this might date this interview a little bit, but I just want to make this example. Like you saw that cover that we just had up, and here I'll put up one more time real quick for everybody here. I mean, look at that. That pops off so much. And then like you look at, here's just some mainstream comics that were on the shelf last week. And like you put that next to like, I mean, black,
and red.
It's a Plastic Man book and it's black.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Like, it just, we always say don't judge a book by its cover, but we all know that's bullshit. We all know that we judge a book by its cover. So
right.
Yeah, it blows me away that she's not more popular, especially in the Kickstarter realm. Like that's one of the things that when I believe you first approached us, it could have been the other way around, but when I first saw the book, I was like, that cover is what sells it right there. Yeah, and that 100%. First one with the Great Horn cover. Yeah, no, I agree. And I think it's like you said, it sticks out. And even from the first one, like that, I remember what's crazy, and I don't know if I've told you guys this in one of the past interviews, originally she hadn't really done color. She was doing black and white pretty much exclusively at the time that I reached out to her. And, and her monster art was still great. So I wanted to do that. And she actually sent me a black and white version first. And I was like, cool, this is great. We'll go with this. And then she's like, she was the one that was like, hey, I have this kind of crazy idea for some colors. Like I want to add them. Can I work on this and send it back to you? I was like, yeah, of course. And then she sent me that. And I was like, this is so totally different than anything I've seen. Like, absolutely. I would love to have this, and I knew then too, is like this, as
as long as you want to keep doing this, I'll have you keep coming back, because it is so cool. Like you said, it sticks out. It's so different from, and it's not even just the mainstream shows. Like, even if you look on Kickstarter, I've yet to see another color that I think, or another cover that really jumps out at you as far as just from an attention grabbing standpoint. Like, it's so cool. It's so unique. And like, I've just been so, fortunate and happy that she's worked with us, the whole time. I've told her, like, you're as big a part of the team as anyone else. Like, it wouldn't be Territory without these covers. Yep. And,
100%.
it's just been cool because she's been, like I said, she's been so great about it, excited about the project. And like, she's been, been 100% in from the start. So.
Yeah, and for anyone out there, I'm trying to pull up some of her other stuff. Like, this is one of her commissions. This is what I'm talking about. Like, what you have is a really cool, like, neon look and everything, but her style still fits in other things.
Yes.
And like works and still is vibrant without the neon. And here's, I believe this is a Digimon. I'm a Pokemon man myself, but I mean,
yeah, it's
come
awesome.
on.
Yeah.
It's
like, now I want a Pokemon commission.
Well, it's like cool, like kind of cartoonish, but still got that, like, it almost feels like a classic sort of kaiju type of feel. Like, it's it's kind of a little, you can tell it's not like 100% dark and gritty and all, but that there's so much of that out there, that having this sort of almost classic sci-fi kaiju kind of feel just makes that stuff pop. And it's like, it sucks you in. If you're a fan of the media, like, you're going to be attracted to this type of work. So.
All right, Mike, I'll let you talk about other covers now.
No, I'm okay with that. Yeah, that's I know in the past we've gotten some, like you said, we've had a Godzilla artist working on it, or some like some references to like classic Godzilla or like old school comic book covers. Can we expect anything like that? Or
so there's no tribute ones like we've done in the past. We did the tribute to the original Godzilla movie poster with Tanner Wright on the first issue, and then on the third issue we did the tribute to the first Godzilla Marvel comic. So we don't have anything like that, and I'll tell you guys, this, unfortunately I can't show it to you yet. I've seen a sketch. But so we'll have 4 covers again, just like all our other campaigns. We've got the cover A is this one here by Donnie Hariwajaja. So this is the interior artist. This is the colors by Ichsan and Sori. So this will be the first time that Donnie's had the cover A. We still had one from Chris for the last issue, though Donnie did do one of the variants last time. And I love this cover. I think this is another one that really captures sort of the vibe. Again, this is Alkia kind of conquering everything she's been through on her journey, becoming herself, everything that she's been taught and had to learn and adjust to. She comes out of this, this is the end of her journey. And so this kind of shows her, standing victorious at the end. And I love the way that Donnie drew that. Plus the Great Horn Skull just looks so sick. Like, that's just such a cool design. So this will be the cover A. This will be sort of the standard cover. And then we'll have the cover B will be the Mars one, which we've talked about. And then this is cover C. So this is by Megan Huang. Who, I don't know if any of you guys read the Godzilla Rivals, any of those comics. It was one.
Mike has.
Yeah, I have. Yep.
So she did the Megalon versus Jet Jaguar one.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Which was super cool. And that's kind of what initially caught my eye and turned me on to her. She also has a series, an indie series that's been out through one of the smaller publishers called The Scale Trade, about basically like illegal dragon trade, like an illegal animal trade, but with dragons.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
That's the book from Magma Comics.
Steve Orlando, I think, is the writer, which obviously he's, amazing. So she's another one, like, she's, done a lot of, because she's also worked on Star Wars and Star Trek and all sorts of crazy stuff. But her kaiju art with Godzilla kind of caught me, and then so was really excited to have her on. And this is another cool one, again, just kind of showing, I just love, like, I love the Great Horn. It's always great to kind of see him, but having kind of Alkia looking up to it. And again, I think it's really representative of kind of what the story's about. And then I actually haven't told anyone else this as of the recording of this. But when this episode goes live, obviously everyone will know. But Matt Frank will be doing the last cover, and so he's done a ton of published Godzilla stuff, worked on a ton of Godzilla licensed stuff, and I was really, really excited because he was the one artist, coming into this and not really knowing much on issue 1. He was like the big kaiju artist I knew, and I really wanted to see him work on Territory, but it just, it was something that never really worked out. But for the last one, wanted to go big, and so reached out to him, and he's been super cool. So I have a sketch of it as of now of this recording, and I'm excited to be able to do the full cover reveal. So by the time this is live, we'll have that. But it's really awesome, and having him do cover for it is, like I said, it's really cool to me because he was one of the ones that I have a ton of his stuff across various media. I have like his Gamera DVD boxes and stuff like that. So having him kind of come in is kind of like another sign to me that Territory's grown and it's out there. There's comic fans who enjoy it, there's kaiju fans who enjoy it, and so it's cool to see that even some people who I started this project, I was hopeful, but thought they would, never work on a project like this. It's cool to see that we're getting people like that on the book and creating cool work for it.
Yeah, he's done like a lot of the epic Godzilla stuff. So
yeah,
a lot of that Godzilla and Hell art was really good.
Yeah, and then he did, I think it was Godzilla Legends was like his big series.
And I think he's done some covers for the Godzilla Power Rangers stuff. Yeah, some of those epic covers.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really awesome. And he's done a lot of different, he's popped in for covers on stuff that that's been really cool. Yeah, but he did the Godzilla Legends. That's awesome that you got him to like wrap up the series. With a cover that's really cool.
Yeah. And like I said, I wish I had it now, but I'm excited. Once I get it, I'll definitely send it over to you guys, and then obviously, but when this video is live, everyone will be able to see it. But it is cool, and I'm excited. Seeing like kind of an artist that's that sort of well known, especially in the kaiju community, be on Territory. It is sort of a gratifying feeling of like, hey, this is a real book. Like we've, there's people who are interested. There's people, like you guys who have helped, who have supported it, who have, helped spread the word along the way. And now here at the end, like we're able to really go all out and make it as big as we can. And that's, that was the goal is to go out strong with it and make it as, as strong an ending as we feel it deserves. And I feel like we're able to do that. So,
yeah.
awesome.
And it's not to like toot our own horns or something, but like, it's been cool over the years getting to know a few people in this industry, and you being one of them, who started off with just this idea. And now when you go on, if you look through the past Kickstarters, and I was looking at them earlier, while it's a little deceiving because your percentage doesn't go up, but when you really click into it, it's like you were asking for higher budgets throughout it. And you were seeing more and more people and more money going into the campaigns, and just seeing that it's actually growing and people are getting into it. And that's really cool to watch, man.
Well, thank you. And like I said, I appreciate, it's been one of the most satisfying things has been like having guys like you guys, it's cool. Like the people who I talked to, like with you guys who, backed the first book, talked to about the first book, and then being able to, talk to you guys as it's been and, talk about just sort of my experience as a new creator and how it's grown. But also hearing, from people who are enjoying the book and, who are excited to see the next issue, who are excited to see how it ends, who are fans of like the Mars covers, or who are fans of, certain elements of the story. And just like, hearing that sort of thing has really made it, like I said, it's been a really gratifying experience. And, especially like as a first time creator without any connections, like coming in that first one, it was really just we'll see how this goes. Like, I hope it goes well. I've done as much research as I feel like I can, but until you do it, you just don't know. And that's what's cool about this community too, is so supportive. And, there's always like, Twitter is a terrible place to get anything from because people are always complaining about something. But
Yeah.
you know, the amount of like knowledge and support in the community and stuff that, you know, I feel like I've been able to become part of, and the people I've known, got to talk to multiple times and stuff like that. Like it's been really cool to see this grow from, you know, something that was like just basically hoping it would turn out well, to now feeling confident that, you know, I'm ending it on a good note, ending it the way I want to, and you know, putting out a series out there that I can be proud of, that, you know, I can talk to people about and have them be excited about it, and you know, talk about the characters and what happened and all that kind of stuff.
So, Mike, unless you have another question, I had one that's really good to wrap everything up with.
No, I'm good. Go ahead. Yeah.
So it's also like you as an interviewee have grown too. I'd like to mention that. But,
yeah, sure.
I was going back and kind of breezing through the old interviews, and one of the things I noticed in the beginning was you came into this, you had this idea for territory, and you wanted to tell this story. This is what you came here with. Have you caught the bug, and do you want to keep going, and do you have other stories you want to tell now? Not necessarily territory per se, but like, do you feel like you're now a comic creator, or was this the story you wanted to tell and you feel like you've done the thing you want to do? How are you feeling going into the last campaign?
I definitely feel like I've caught the bug. Like there's, you know, like I said, I do think this will be, at least for now, for territory. You know, it is, there are more ideas growing now, especially kind of coming to the end and seeing the support, and you know, seeing it done, you can, you know, kind of see how it could continue, and oh, well, I could, you know, we could go, you know, from here and do this. But there actually are two other ideas that I'm planning on working on next, totally unrelated, but they will be comics. And so yeah, it's been cool. You know, I do feel like being able to complete this series has definitely given me the confidence to feel like I can do that. Mm-hmm. You know, I feel like I at least sort of understand, you know, the game well enough now that, you know, I can create the stories that I want to create and get them out there. And that's, you know, and that's just such a cool feeling, especially, you know, I really enjoy doing this, but this isn't something I would want to do like professionally or anything. You know, I like being able to do this on my terms. And now I feel comfortable in the fact that I can do this on my terms. You know, I can create the stories I want to create, and, you know, and get them out there, and, you know, that there will be people that will be interested, and there will be, you know, so yeah, it's definitely, you know, being able to see this all the way through has given me the confidence moving forward to work on more. I'm excited also to kind of, you know, because the other thing is, especially looking at those first couple issues of territory, like there's things now where I'm like, man, I wish I'd done this a little differently, or this a little differently. You know, I just feel like I've grown as a creator. And so I'm excited to work on a new project where I feel like I have a pretty, you know, a much better knowledge base. And obviously I still have a long way to go. You know, this is still my first series, so still a lot to learn, but I at least have an idea of what I'm doing now, where I can come in and sort of have a plan where, you know, hopefully I can create something that I feel is stronger from the start, because I just feel more confident in what I'm doing, and will be able to clean up some of the little things that I wish I could have known before I started this.
Yeah, that makes sense. Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait for the last issue. It's crazy we're already talking about it, because it doesn't feel like it's been that long, but yeah, I'm excited for it. So what just to wrap up again, what the date that it's going to be live on Kickstarter, if you want to share that again with everybody.
Yes. So this is going to be September 24th. The campaign is going to go live. So this is going to be Territory issues 1 through 5. It'll be the complete series. The 5th issue is a 32-page sized behemoth finale. So the first 4 issues were all 22 pages. This last one will be 32 pages. So it's going to be 120 pages total, which is pretty awesome. You know, I think that's a good length for the story. So, you know, if you've backed it before, you can catch up. If you haven't, but you're interested, you'll be able to get the whole series now. This, you know, all 5 issues. And yeah, we're, like I said, really excited. And we feel like it's the ending that it deserves. So if you're, you know, if you dig it, I think this is going to be a good ending for you.
Great.
120 pages. That's a good length for a trade paperback, Mike.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's exactly what you need for a TPB
or
right there.
or a nice hardcover.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe.
That's definitely a consideration. That's another thing. Like that's not something I've done before, but that's
right.
sort of, the next part is looking at some other stuff like that.
Cool.
So people out there want to follow you further into this and whatever the next thing is. What poor social media decisions do you make? Where can they find you?
Unfortunately, Twitter is still probably the best one. It's just, kind of the easiest. Fortunately, it's the same handle on everything. So it's just at BMC Comics. So BMCCOMICS. So Twitter and Instagram are really the only ones I use. Actually Blue Sky too, but haven't really gotten any traction there. And then obviously on Kickstarter,
no one has.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. The Wild West out there. But and then Kickstarter, obviously, if you search for Territory, you can find the previous campaigns. And Global Comics, that you can find the first 3 issues for free there. So if you're curious, just want to check it out, you can read the first 3 issues for free there. So
nice. Awesome.
If you just search Territory on Global Comics, I think it pops right up.
And to everybody out there watching and listening, as always, I will have the link in the show notes down below so you can click on that, check out the campaign. Because as you're listening to this, it is live, unless I really screwed up. But it should be live when you're listening to this. So click that link, check it out, and back the campaign, because Mike and I can both tell you it's a great book. And we really, although it's bittersweet to have it end, we're looking forward to seeing how it ends. So
yep, for sure.
Blake, thanks so much for stopping by once again and dealing with our craziness. We appreciate it, and we look forward to whatever the next project is, man. And best of luck with this one.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you guys having on, and like I said, supporting it, from the jump. So appreciate you guys, and excited to see where it goes.
Thanks.